Mao was as willing to profit from opium as the next warlord, even though he had officially banned opium production in communist controlled areas in 1939, asserting that it sickens the country and harms the people. 2 years earlier, the communists' finances, stretched by Mao's ambitions to expand militarily through the northwestern province, in which they had settled in 1935, had briefly stabilized. That year, Chiang Kai shek had called the Second United Front, this time against the Japanese. Over the next 4 years, the communist economy survived on annual handouts from the nationalists and the Soviet Union. After 1941, however, when relations between the two parties deteriorated back into effective civil war, the nationalists severed their funding and blockaded the edges of the communist zone, preventing essential imports from getting in. By the end of the year, the region's finances were millions of nationalist dollars in the red. For decades, communist propaganda held that the Maoists worked their way out of their predicament through frugality and popular democracy by introducing rent reduction and cooperative farming practices, until a historian called Chen Yong-fa noticed at the end of the 1980s that account books for the period were scattered with references to a special product that rescued the communists from their trade deficit of the early 1940s and that by 1945 was generating more than 40% of the state's budget. A little more detective work revealed that this was opium, processed in special factories and transported south and west to generate export revenue for communist armies. Since opium entered China, a communist editorial of 1941 explained, it has become the greatest source of harm to the Chinese people. Inseparable from imperialist invasion, imperialism has used opium to enslave and oppress the Chinese people. As the Chinese people have become ever weaker, ever poorer, opium has played the most detestable and poisonous destructive role. But in 1945, as an American mission flew in to inspect Mao's kingdom, it found itself gazing over nothing more controversial than swaying fields of sorghum and wheat.